Part 1. 1. The day Chicago broke. Chicago was already a frozen maze when the signal hit. From the windows of the Apex, a 48-story glass monolith above the loop, Ethan Harper watched sheets of wind roll across a half-frozen Lake Michigan. The outside temperature hovered at -15 degrees Celsius, dropping every hour. He'd been a firefighter for 12 years, chief engineer for 2. He knew how a building breathed. He knew how it died. At 11:42 a.m., the first reports of mass confusion downtown crackled through Riley's ham radio set on his kitchen counter. 4 minutes later, as Ethan walked the service hallway on the 32nd floor, every fluorescent light flickered the same way, 3 pulses, perfectly spaced. And then all of Chicago screamed at once. Phones rang with static. Car alarms erupted. Somewhere blocks away, a woman shrieked until her voice cracked. The pulse hit like a soundless concussion, an invisible frequency blast from the old Willis Tower transmitter. Within 30 minutes, 22% of the city had turned into something else. Not mindless. Not rabid. Just fearless. Unaffected by pain. And terrified of cold and strong light. Ethan didn't know any of that yet. All he knew was that the elevator motors went offline and the emergency phone in his pocket began vibrating non-stop. 2. Dad, Mom's not answering. Riley met him at the apartment door on the 41st floor, breathless, her FCC-licensed ham headset tilted around her neck. Dad, there's something wrong outside. People are running in the streets. Mom's radio is dead. It's never dead. Lauren, Dr. Lauren Harper, ER Chief of Northwestern Memorial, was 9 blocks away. Close enough to see the Apex from the ambulance bay. Noah clung to Ethan's leg, sobbing at the wailing sirens outside. The boy had always been sensitive to noise, now the city was one unbroken howl. Ethan knelt, steadying him. It's okay, buddy. Everyone inside. Doors locked. He checked the stairwell cameras. Dozens of people were already climbing. Panic rising. A few were bloody. One moved strangely, jerking, like his limbs didn't care if they bent too far. Ethan's stomach dropped. Riley, get your go bag. Noah, shoes on. We are heading down to 25, to the control room. Dad, what's happening? I don't know. But we are not staying blind. 3. The first climb. They descended 11 floors before the screams began. 2 office workers sprinted up the stairwell toward them, faces gray with terror. Don't go down there, the man gasped. People are attacking each other. They don't feel anything. I hit one with a fire extinguisher and he just kept. Behind him, something slammed into the metal door on 30. The sound was wrong, too strong, too fast, followed by knuckles scraping the narrow window. Ethan shoved the man upward. Go. Get to the higher residential floors. Lock the fire doors behind you. He dragged his kids up 5 floors until they reached the Skybridge lounge landing. As he sealed the fire door, he heard the infected pounding below. No rhythm. No fear. Just heat-seeking. Riley's voice shook. Dad, what do we do? We survive. And we wait for your mom. 4. The Apex fractures. By evening, the building had become a vertical battlefield. Below floor 20, entire office wings were empty or burning. The emergency generators stuttered under load. Smoke drifted upward through service shafts. The infected, whoever they were now, seemed to avoid the coldest corners, but clustered near heat. By nightfall, the temperature outside hit -19 degrees Celsius. That's when Ethan learned who had taken over floors 16 through 22. 5. I'm in charge now. Ethan was escorting 2 terrified tenants up to floor 40 when a bullhorn crackled through the stairwell. This is Marshall, a voice boomed. If you want safe passage, you come through 16. No weapons. No arguments. And you bring something worth trading. Ethan froze. Marshall, the ex-security guard who'd been fired last year for threatening a resident, bigger than most door frames, knew every blind spot in the building. A low murmur spread among the tenants. He's got guns from the security office. He's taking food from every floor. He threw someone down the middle stairwell, said it was bait. Ethan's jaw locked. We're not going anywhere near 16. He led his kids back toward 38 to 42, where a small cluster of residents had started forming a sanctuary around the mechanical rooms. Leonard Leot Grant, a retired architect from 46, had taken charge of organizing barricades and ration checks with a calm voice that settled panicked hearts. When Ethan arrived, Leo gave a tight nod. "You the engineer. We need heat, water, and someone who understands how this tower stays alive." Ethan hid the tremor in his hands. "Right now? It's barely alive." 6. The night Lauren came through hell. At 2:12 a.m., Riley shook him awake. "Dad? I got Mom on Channel 7. She's coming." Static burst through the radio. "Ethan, if you hear me, I'm 5 blocks out. Ambulance is armored but they're trying to flip us." Gunshots. Metal scraping asphalt. A roar that didn't sound human. Then Lauren again, breath ragged. "I'm not stopping. I'll ram through if I have to. Keep the north garage door open." Ethan swore, grabbed his jacket, and sprinted. He reached the security hub on 25 just in time to see her ambulance smash through a barricade of flaming dumpsters on Wacker Drive. Something climbed onto the hood, something pale, cracked, shuddering, until she flipped the sirens to full strobe and blasted it off with light. She crashed into the garage column, airbags bursting. Ethan tore the door open and dragged her out before the shadows moving behind her could reach the entrance. Lauren shook violently, bruised, blood on her temple. "Noah? Riley," she gasped. "They're safe," Ethan said, holding her face still. "You home." Behind them, several infected collapsed as the garage cold rolled over them, curling like insects under frostbite. That was the first time Ethan understood. They feared the cold. 7. Day 2. Heat fails. Snow hammered the city for the next 24 hours. The infected began consolidating in warmer sectors of the building. Floors 12 to 18 became no-go zones. At dawn, the Apex's core heating system failed with a deep metallic boom that shook the walls. The underground transformer, buried in a utility vault below freezing pipes, had exploded. Ethan checked the gauges. No heat. No backup. In 48 hours, every unit above 35 would be below freezing. Anyone without fuel would die in their sleep. Lauren read the numbers over his shoulder, face pale. "Ethan, people upstairs, elderly, kids, they won't last." "Then I have to go down," he said quietly. "If I can bring the diesel generators back online, we buy time." That's the basement. That's minus 30 degrees Celsius with the wind tunnels. And the infected? I know. He held her gaze. I don't get to be a firefighter anymore. But I can still keep this building breathing. 8. Leo's proposal. Late that night, in the dining hall they'd converted on floor 41, Leo gathered the surviving high-floor residents. Among them, the Patel family, the Walsh family, a few software engineers, 2 elderly couples, and roughly 2 dozen others. Leo spread a crude hand-drawn map on the table. Ethan can restore heat. But to keep order, our floors need leadership. Marshall controls 16 to 22. If he keeps rising, we lose the middle of the tower. We become trapped. Ryan Patel crossed his arms. We are already trapped. No, Leo said evenly. We are partitioned. There's a difference. Caleb Walsh, former Marine, added, with enough people, we can take back the mid-tower. Ethan shook his head immediately. You send anyone into that hell without a plan, they'll die. Smoke is rising from the server fire on 15. Temperatures in the stairwell hit 200 degrees an hour ago. Silence. Lauren squeezed his hand. Then we don't fight for territory. We fight for time. Leo exhaled. Then you go to the basement tomorrow. And we hold the line until you're back. 9. Descent into ice. Ethan suited up before dawn, fireproof jacket, insulated gloves, respirator, and a crowbar. Not because he expected fire, but because he expected anything. Riley hugged him fiercely. I'll keep radio contact on channel 7. Don't go silent, okay? Noah whispered, Daddy, don't let the cold get you. Ethan kissed them both. I'll be back before you can argue over breakfast. He opened the stairwell door and felt the temperature drop like a punch. On floor 10, the lights flickered. On floor 8, he found the first frozen body, curled against a vent, face blue, eyes open. On floor 5, he heard something dragging itself in the smoke. He moved silently, hugging walls, avoiding warm pockets, because warm pockets meant the infected clustered there. When he reached the basement, frost coated the pipes like bone dust. Water flooded the generator pit to knee height, rippling with each distant impact from above. He waded toward the control panel. That's when he saw 2 infected sloshing through the far end, pale, shaking violently in the cold, but still moving toward him. Ethan gritted his teeth. Not today. He smashed a hanging icicle loose, long, sharp, and drove it into the first man's throat. The second lunged, slipping in the freezing water, and Ethan shoved its head under until the body went limp. His hands burned with cold. But the generator switch clicked green. The 2-megawatt engine rumbled to life, sending heat crawling upward through the spine of the building. Ethan staggered back, breath freezing in his beard. Riley, it's on. Tell Mom I'm coming up. Static. Then, her voice breaking with relief. Dad, hurry. Something's happening upstairs. 10. The upper floors fall apart. Smoke alarms wailed. People screamed. Heavy impacts echoed through the stairwells. Ethan climbed fast, lungs burning. He passed floor 16 and saw blood smeared under the door. Voices inside. Marshall shouting. On floor 20, he heard drilling, metal grinding metal. By the time he reached 38, Ryan Patel grabbed him by the shoulders. Ethan, Marshall took 11 hostages. Kids. He's moving them between floors. And the fire on 15 is spreading upward. Ethan pushed past him, heart racing. Where are my kids? With Lauren. Safe. Ethan, there's more. Riley's voice called from the hallway, trembling but steady. Dad, the people on 47 and 48? The rich group? Lauren stepped beside her daughter, face stiff. They have a helicopter. They are offering evacuation windows, but only for people they think are our assets. Doctors. Engineers. A few others. Ethan stared at the ceiling. They're leaving the rest to die. No one answered. 11. The building makes its choice. At sunset, the fire breached floor 18. Smoke pressure pushed into the upper tower. Marshall, now cut off by flames below, began consolidating his new kingdom from floors 20 to 22 and demanded supplies from above. Leo sealed off 40 to 42 and prepared for a siege. That night, as Ethan checked the structural temperatures, he realized something horrifying. If the fire rose past 30, the building's central smoke chimney would reverse. Toxic gas would fill every floor above. They had maybe 21 hours to escape. At midnight, a deafening crash shook the building. Marshall used a forklift and a gas cylinder to collapse the east stairwell from floors 20 to 30, severing the upper tower from the ground. Leo whispered what everyone already knew. We can't go down anymore. Ethan swallowed hard. Then we make another way. Or we die trying. 12. The closing line. As later, after they regrouped in the dim emergency-lit lounge of floor 41, everyone looked to Ethan, because he was the only one who had kept them alive so far. He stared out at the frozen city, at the burning floors below, at the trapped families above. His voice was low, steady, mercilessly honest. We are not trapped on the 48th floor. We are the last fuse still burning in a building that has already decided to die. And tonight, we choose whether we blow the door for everyone, or we become the ones who get to walk out. Part 2. 1. Smoke at the door. The smoke came first. Thin, grey, barely visible, threading under the fire door on floor 38 like a warning from the floors below. Ethan pressed his palm against the metal. Warm. Too warm. Lauren joined him, stethoscope still around her neck out of habit more than purpose. It wasn't this hot 2 hours ago. No, Ethan said quietly. The fire on 18 must have breached the old wiring shaft. Heat's chimneying through the walls. Behind them, families huddled in blankets near the makeshift kerosene heaters Ethan had installed from scavenged parts. The hum of the revived generator brought some comfort, but its warmth barely reached this far down the hall. Ethan stepped back. Everyone stays above 40. No exceptions. Caleb Walsh, broad-shouldered, former Marine, shook his head. That leaves Marshall sitting on floors 20 to 22 with hostages and the choke point. He's getting bolder. He'll come up soon. He won't, Ethan replied. Not while the fire's below him. Smoke scares him just as much as the infected. Lauren crossed her arms. You think fear is all that stops him? No, Ethan said. I think power stops him. He still believes he controls this building. Caleb's jaw clenched. Then we need to take that control back. Ethan didn't answer. He couldn't, not yet. 2. The message from below. Riley burst into the room, headset around her neck, breathing hard. Dad, someone's trying to reach us on emergency band 3. It's weak, but it's close. Inside the building. Ethan frowned. Inside? She nodded and adjusted the tuning dial with precision that would make any radio operator proud. Static, crackle, and then a trembling voice. Floor 19, children, trapped, smoke, please, anyone. Lauren's hand flew to her mouth. Ryan Patel leaned forward. Floor 19? That's just below Marshall's zone. Ethan's stomach turned heavy. Floor 19 had daycare rooms, weekend tutoring programs, a small event space. It wasn't supposed to be occupied today. But the voice belonged to a terrified teenager. Riley boosted the gain. This is Apex Emergency Net. Can you hear me? Yes, thank God. This is Jacob. There are 8 of us. They locked us in when the pulse started. We can't. A deep boom shook the microphone on his end. They're trying to break the door. Lauren grabbed the radio. Jacob, listen to me. Stay low. Stay away from the vents. Help is coming. Riley shot her a look. Mom. Lauren's voice cracked with steel. We are not leaving kids to die. Ethan felt the room shift, hope, fear, anger. He looked at his wife. We don't have a way down. Marshall collapsed the east stairwell. The west stairwell's blocked by fire and smoke. Ryan spoke up. There's still the freight shaft. Caleb's eyes widened. That's suicide. Ryan shrugged. You asked for options. That's an option. 3. The helicopter window. As tension thickened, a sharp knock echoed on the door to the fire stairs. 2 men in tactical jackets stepped in, private security contractors from the 47 to 48 elite group. Behind them, a tall woman in a silver parka entered with a polite, soulless smile. Vivienne Strahm, billionaire investor, owner of a residence 3 floors above. She surveyed the room like she was inspecting a construction site. we are coordinating evacuation flights. The National Guard can only enter the airspace in controlled windows. Our next window is at 0600 hours. We can take 19 people. Ethan stared. There are over 100 survivors in this tower. Vivienne didn't blink. And room for 19. But we prioritize individuals with essential skills. Medical. Engineering. Cybersecurity. Anyone else is generous if we offer. Lauren's voice iced. You're picking who lives. We are picking who can rebuild, Vivienne said calmly. Emotion is a luxury we cannot afford. Ryan snorted. Says the woman with a penthouse the size of a football field. Vivienne ignored him and looked at Ethan with unsettling focus. We want you and your family, Mr. Harper. A chief engineer with firefighting experience is invaluable. You too, Dr. Harper. And your daughter's radio expertise would ensure communication integrity. Ethan's pulse hammered. What about the others? She tilted her head. If capacity remains, we can take a few. But the building is deteriorating faster than you think. If you stay, you may not get another chance. Lauren stepped forward, fire in her eyes. What about the children on 19? Vivienne didn't blink. Not my concern. The room fell silent. Ethan exhaled slowly. Get out. Vivienne raised an eyebrow. Mr. Harper. Get out. The guards escorted her away without argument. Ethan waited until the door clicked shut before turning back to the group. Caleb spoke first. Ethan, if you reject that offer, you're risking your entire family. Lauren cut in. And if we accept it without helping those kids, then we're not a family I want to be. Riley quietly nodded, eyes fierce. We go after them. 4. Into the freight shaft. The freight elevator shaft had been sealed since the pulse. Too dangerous. Too exposed. But it was the only vertical path that Marshall hadn't blocked. Ethan assembled a crew, Caleb, Ryan, and 2 fit residents from floor 40. Lauren insisted on coming but Ethan refused. You're our doctor. If the kids are alive, they'll need you up here. She hated it, but she understood. Ryan opened the mechanical lock on the freight access. Cold air blasted out like a living thing. The shaft stretched downward into darkness, steel ribs framing a vertical abyss. Caleb clipped the first rope. We rappel 2 floors at a time, switch to the catwalks, avoid making noise. Marshall's patrols keep circling down there. Ethan tightened his gloves. Everyone stays clipped in. No hero moves. Ryan smirked. Says the ex-firefighter about to rappel headfirst into a burning tower. Ethan glared. I'm not the same guy anymore. Good, Ryan said. That guy died for strangers. This one lives for his family. They began the descent. Floor 40, then 39. The smell of burning plastic thickened. Floor 37, echoes of distant screams. At 35, they paused on a narrow maintenance ledge. Caleb listened. That's not infected noise. That's... Ethan whispered. Patrol boots. 5. Marshall's hunters. 2 armed men appeared on the opposite catwalk, scanning the shaft with flashlights. Ethan pulled the group back behind a structural beam. Ryan's breath hitched. Marshall's men talked in low voices. Boss says floors 18 to 20 are heating up. Once the kids moved higher. Yeah, one bit him. He shot the little bastard. We'll throw 2 down the shaft as warning if we get cornered. Ethan's fists clenched until his gloves creaked. Caleb mouthed. We take them? Ethan's eyes flicked toward the men's pistols. Too loud. Too risky. He shook his head. We go down. Quiet. As the patrol moved on, Ryan almost collapsed with relief. Jesus, Ethan. We are outnumbered, outgunned. And out running time, Ethan said. Keep moving. 6. Floor 19, the door. When they reached the 19th floor exit, smoke seeped from the cracks. The steel was blackened but intact. Screams echoed faintly from inside, young, desperate. Ethan knocked twice. Jacob! It's Ethan Harper. We are here. A boy's voice broke through the door. Please, there's smoke everywhere. Ava can't breathe. Caleb and 2 others forced the wheel lock. The door screeched open, a wave of heat rolling out. 8 children huddled in the center of the room, ages 6 to 14. Their faces streaked with soot. Ava, the youngest, wheezed in short, sharp breaths. Ethan swept them with his flashlight. Everyone up. Stay in a line. Hold hands. We're taking you to safety. A small boy trembled. But the men, the ones with guns, they said they'd come back. Caleb gripped his shoulder gently. They won't reach you before we do. Let's move. Ethan scooped Ava into his arms. She needs oxygen. We need to get her to Lauren, fast. Ryan checked the hall. All clear for now. But the fire's coming up fast. The freight shaft will be hotter on the way up. Ethan stared at his daughter's face on the mental screen of his mind. Then we climb before the building inhales. 7. Collapse. They reached the catwalk when the first explosion hit. A shockwave ripped through the shaft, blowing out vents, sending debris raining down the abyss. Ethan shielded Ava, shouting, "Hold the ropes! Don't look down!" The catwalk beneath Caleb buckled. He grabbed a cable, dangling. Ethan lunged, catching his vest with one arm. "Don't you let go!" Ethan yelled. Caleb gritted his teeth. "Not planning to." Ryan hauled them both up as more metal screamed under strain. Children sobbed, clinging to the handrail. Then Ethan heard it. Voices from above. Footsteps. A bullhorn. Marshall. 8. The devil in the shaft. Marshall's voice echoed down the shaft, dripping amusement. Well, who's stealing my property?" Ethan froze. Caleb whispered, "He sees us?" Marshall stepped into view midshaft on a cross catwalk, flashlight in one hand, pistol in the other. He smiled. "Hero boy. Should have known." Ethan pushed the kids behind him. "We're leaving, Marshall. You're not stopping us." Marshall laughed. "You think this is about stopping you? I need leverage. And scared children, those are the best bait in the world." He raised the gun. Ethan stepped forward. "Take me. Leave them." A hush fell. Marshall considered it. Then he aimed the pistol, not at Ethan, but at the catwalk bolts below the children. "Pass." He fired. The blast echoed like thunder. The catwalk lurched, tilting. Children screamed. Ethan grabbed a support beam, roaring, "Climb! Now!" Caleb and Ryan moved like lightning, pulling kids up the ropes one by one. Marshall fired again. The walkway snapped. Ethan pushed 2 children upward just as the platform beneath him gave way, and he dropped into blackness. For a heartbeat, there was nothing but falling. Then, a hand caught his wrist. Caleb, muscles shaking, face red with effort. "I've got you. Climb." Ethan clawed his way up as Marshall holstered his gun. "Run, hero," Marshall called. "You bought them minutes. I control hours." He vanished upward into smoke. 9. The choice. They reached floor 38 barely alive, Ava wheezing, Jacob sobbing, Ethan shaking uncontrollably. Lauren rushed to them the moment the door shut. "Oh God, Ethan, eat these kids. She pulled Ava into her arms, immediately administering oxygen from her med kit. Leo stared at the children, stunned. You actually did it. Ethan leaned against the wall, chest heaving. We had to. Ryan wiped soot from his face. And now Marshall wants them back. As everyone processed this, Riley looked at Ethan, her eyes wide, scared, proud. Dad, the helicopter window is in 6 hours. The room went silent. Ethan looked around at the soot-covered children, at his exhausted crew, at Lauren's trembling hands. Then he looked at the door to the stairwell, behind which Marshall's men prowled. He swallowed hard. The fire was rising. The stairwells were gone. The helicopter window was closing. And the building was dying. Part 3. 1. The helicopter countdown. The clock on floor 41 read 5:10. 5 minutes to the National Guard's evacuation window. Ethan surveyed the scene, 8 children huddled in blankets, Caleb and Ryan exhausted from the climb, Lauren tending to Ava, Riley monitoring radio traffic. Smoke from floors 15 to 18 churned upward like a living tide. Heat and flames licked at the lower floors. The apex groaned. Ethan's voice cut through the tension. Everyone listens. The chopper comes at 0600. That's 50 minutes from now. We move on my mark. No heroics. No surprises. We get everyone out. Riley's hands hovered over the ham radio. They're trying to clear the airspace. National Guard says we get exactly 1 6-minute window. Caleb muttered, 6 minutes? That's not a rescue. That's a sprint. Ethan's jaw tightened. Then we sprint. 2. The fire surge. The first sign that the fire had crossed floor 30 came from the walls, heat shimmering like liquid gold. Smoke poured from vents, curling into the hallways. Temperatures soared. Ethan checked the thermal gauges from the service corridor. The numbers were brutal, over 220 degrees Fahrenheit at floor 36. He ran calculations in his head. Every minute spent deliberating above the fire would cost lives. Lauren interjected urgently, tending to Ava. Ethan, she can't take another 5 minutes in this heat. I know, he said, voice tight. Riley, start sending real-time coordinates to the chopper. Keep them steady. Everyone else, grab supplies and follow me. 3. The Marshall problem. The real challenge was Marshall. He controlled floors 20 to 22 and had hostages. His voice now boomed across the shaft as if he could smell their escape. Well, heroes. Thought you could sneak past me? The bullhorn's blast rattled every metal beam. Footsteps echoed on crosswalks. Caleb growled, fists tightening. They'll never let us pass. Ethan's mind raced. He had a plan, a risky one. We don't fight him head-on. We fight the building. Smoke, heat, and time are our allies. We move in shadows, across catwalks, and we don't give him a target. Riley tuned her radio. Dad, something's moving near floor 22. Multiple figures. Ethan nodded grimly. Then we make the shaft our tunnel. Keep low. Rope lines ready. And pray the fire slows him down. 4. Decision point, floor 19. The kids on floor 19 huddled against the walls, terrified. Ethan knelt, looking at Jacob, the makeshift leader of the trapped children. Listen. You're coming with us. We can't leave anyone behind. Lauren's voice joined him. I'll take Ava on my back. The rest, you hold hands and follow the rope. The moral calculus burned hotter than the fire. The National Guard window was 6 minutes. Saving the kids risked losing it entirely. Ethan swallowed. We go together. No one left behind. If we fail as a team. 5. The vertical gauntlet. The freight shaft was chaos. smoke, heat, debris, and Marshall's men patrolling the upper catwalks. Ethan's plan relied on precision, slow climbs, calculated pauses, and distraction. Caleb took point, clearing a loose panel to drop a cable that would create a temporary barrier between the group and Marshall's patrol. Ethan led the children, every movement measured. Riley stayed on the radio, coordinating the chopper's hover above. 5 minutes to window, hover stable at 800 feet, must clear line of sight. The shaft reeked of burned plastic and oil. The heat from below clawed upward. Each floor climb made the upper floors feel colder, but the smoke made the climb deadly. At floor 22, Marshall appeared, pistols drawn, yelling through the smoke. Ethan froze only for a heartbeat, then motioned for Caleb to drop the cable. The two men tumbled down the shaft, screeching metal their temporary undoing. Ethan grabbed Jacob and the youngest children. Move! Up! The fire was spreading upward faster now. Every second counted. 6. Smoke, fire, and ice. Halfway to 38, the shaft was a furnace. Heat stung their faces, smoke burned their lungs. Ethan calculated the remaining route, 16 floors to safety. Ryan, leading the rear, carried backpacks of kerosene heaters and med kits. Caleb shielded the children from falling debris. Ethan's mind worked like it did in his firefighting days: assess, plan, execute, repeat. A sudden roar announced the fire jumping a floor below. Smoke surged. Visibility vanished. Hold the ropes! Ethan shouted. Move together! One slip and we're gone. Ava coughed violently. Lauren steadied her, whispering, just a little further, just a little further. 7. The ethical edge. At floor 32, the group paused briefly in a smoke-free corner. The children were trembling, faces blackened with soot. Riley asked quietly, "Dad, what about the others? The ones we couldn't reach?" Ethan's voice was low, cold but honest. "They are either gone or fighting their own battles. Right now, we save the ones we can touch. That's all anyone can do." Lauren rested her hand on his arm. "You're right. But 6 minutes, Ethan. If we don't move..." He nodded, grim. "Then the building decides for us." 8. The final climb. With 3 minutes remaining, the group emerged from the shaft onto floor 38. Heat and smoke still clawed from below, but the floor was defensible. Riley's voice on the radio. "Chopper in position. 800 feet, winch ready, 6 survivors can be hoisted per trip. Hurry!" Ethan organized the evac. First trip, Lauren with Ava, Riley monitoring, Caleb securing the children. Second trip, Jacob and the remaining children. Third trip, Ethan and Ryan. Marshall's voice echoed faintly from the fire below. "Cowards, always choosing someone over everyone." Ethan swallowed the venomous sound, focusing instead on the rope lines and harnesses. 9. The helicopter window. The chopper descended, rotors tearing through the building's vertical wind tunnels. Smoke swirled around it, ice forming on the blades from the minus 20 degrees Celsius wind. Ethan clipped the first harness. Lauren and Ava lifted off, disappearing into the morning sky. Riley's face flushed with adrenaline, directing the children as Caleb hooked them to the line. One by one, Jacob and the others were lifted. Ethan glanced at Ryan, giving a silent nod. Finally, Ethan clipped himself, glanced at Riley, and then at the floor, the fire still raging below, the shaft unstable, Marshall's domain untouched except for the echo of his threats. And then, the line lifted them into the road awash, away from death and smoke, out of the collapsing vertical hell. 10. Last fuse. As the helicopter banked toward the soldier field safe zone, Ethan looked back at the apex. Flames licked upward, smoke twisting skyward, the building groaning as though mourning its own death. Riley whispered into the radio. "Dad, we did it. We're alive." Ethan exhaled, face pale, voice cold and steady. "Yes. but the apex is not alive. It's a corpse burning from the inside. And we are the last fuse still burning in a building that has already decided to die. Lauren leaned close. Did we do the right thing? Ethan looked at the children, at Riley monitoring the evac, at Caleb and Ryan catching their breaths. Tonight, we saved what we could. And that is all anyone can do. The helicopter soared over the frozen lake. Chicago sprawled below, half dead, half burning. Sirens and screams were fading. And above it all, the apex continued its vertical agony, a frozen, burning monument to survival, sacrifice, and impossible choices. 11. Closing lines. Ethan spoke finally, voice cold, matter of fact. We are not trapped on the 48th floor. We are the last fuse still burning in a building that